playmaker. Lewis, how concerned are you about McLaurin's absence from camp?
I know we've differed on this, talking about this earlier today, but I'll tell you this. I'm a 10 out of 10 concerned because every day matters, regardless of the fact that look, I know it's late July. Terry is a great pro. He's played a lot of football. They don't play football until September. I know that's always the very, the very common response to this kind of thing. And then, some are going to say, and I know I'm already jumping ahead of Kimberly, so I'm going to get out ahead of some of her arguments right now. And look, Terry wants to be there. He's a guy who is, who's going to be on the wrong side of 30, so to speak. There's a lot of reasons as to why maybe Washington is taking their time. But look, if you want to guard against making sure that the guy who basically has resurrected your franchise and made this city and this region, the DMV, as excited as it has been in the past 30 years, and that being Jayden Daniels, if you want to make sure that you safeguard that trajectory that he is on and keep it going the way it's going, then you need to make sure that every day that he can spend with Terry McLaurin, he spends with Terry McLaurin in a football setting in your building. And you shouldn't be haggling over, well, you know what? How much longer will Terry play at this level? How much? Nickel and dime him to the point where the guy is not in camp and he's not practicing. This is another one of those things that should be done. And look, they have done everything right. Every move they've made has been an absolute hit out of the park. And I believe this team will be right there in contention. And I'm not one of those teams, rather one of those people who believes that there's an automatic sophomore slump because people get film on you and people understand what you're doing. I don't believe in that crap. I don't. And I damn sure don't believe it with Jayden Daniels. But if you keep messing around with the guy who is his dude and you don't allow them to continue to grow, you're playing with fire. Just get him signed.
Let me ask you a question, Lewis. Is he signed right now? He is. He's making $25 million this year. He's not a free agent. He's got a contract. If I wanted to lead,
don't do that.
Well, no,
Don't
he's
do
making
that.
$25 million. He is signed. He is under contract.
Don't do
and
that.
at the end of the day, he's going to have to stay there because he's got to play 9 games to be a free agent for next year. So at the end of the day, he can do anything he wants. He has to be on the Commanders because he's got to play a certain amount of games. Because if he doesn't, he's going to be in the same boat next year. That's number one. Number two, be fair. Be fair. And I love McLaurin. Dude, good guy, excellent player. You're 1,000% correct.
Yep.
Think of these receivers in the NFL. Devontae Adams left. Did it help the Raiders? It was a disaster. Did it help Green Bay? No big deal. They made the playoffs. Tyreek Hill left. Big deal? Absolutely not. They won a Super Bowl without him. Miami hasn't done anything with Tyreek Hill. Never in the playoffs. Nothing. They've done nothing. Diggs left Buffalo. Well, factor? No. Buffalo played in the championship game last year, and if he gets an inch on 4th down, they probably beat the Chiefs and maybe and go out there and play in the Super Bowl. So the receiver aspect is a little overrated.
This guy's biased to the receivers. He does not believe that you need a big-time receiver to
With a great quarterback.
Wait, hold on.
And he's
Jayden Daniels is in year 2, Doug.
I understand.
He's not in year 6 or 7. This isn't Patrick Mahomes where he can just say, yeah, Tyreek, go on. I'll just make somebody else better. He's still getting better. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I just want to know if you want to talk the whole show.
No, I don't.
I just want to clarify something because you said you were taking my talking points. Okay. You're taking my talking points. Kimberly A. Martin does not feel that Terry McLaurin is expendable.
I didn't.
Those are not. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of the Commanders. For it to take this long, they're looking at it to your point, under contract in the first year of his new deal. You might say okay, he's going to be 31 years old. Can we predict? And I even wrote this down when you were talking to earlier. Future performance projection.
Yes.
That is why you give people new contracts. That's what the money is for.
Right.
So if you, as a former
in
front
combination
office, now we got in combination.
I said in combination.
Now we got in combination.
It weighs more. I know where you're going.
I agree with you because Terry McLaurin, that guy deserves every single penny he can get from this organization because he's been a good soldier there. But I think the fact that Terry McLaurin has played with 14 different quarterbacks and has always been true to the Commanders and Washington football team and all that, I think they realize he doesn't want to be anywhere else. He finally has the quarterback that he's been dreaming of. I think they are banking on the fact that this is where he wants to be. We want him here. This will get done. The Commanders want him in the fold. It really probably is just about the money, the guarantees, and I think eventually it'll get done. But I don't think you should discredit and sort of talked about Terry McLaurin, Doggy, as if he's just some
No,
throwaway.
he's a very good player.
He is a
Can I
fantastic
tell you
receiver.
Can I tell you something the coach told me? And they actually told me this at the college level. All right, so when you're ranking the top 5 positions on a football team, right? And most people will go quarterback, pass rusher, cornerback, offensive tackle, wide receiver. That's how it used to be. Let's just say as recently as maybe 3-4 years ago. He said, other than quarterback, I believe wide receiver may be the number 2 most important position in football, regardless of level at this point. Simply because of this, it's become an offensive-driven game. It's become a points-intensive game. And who can flip the field and win a game for you quicker than anybody? A wideout. A guy who can win on the outside lane, who can just go down the field and win the game for you with one catch. One catch. Now, I know people say, well, pass rushers can do that too, like they can close out games. But look, this is about scoring the points, not necessarily preventing the points, which if you had to pick between the two, do you want more scoring or more defense? Teams will pick more scoring. And wide receivers, that's why you see them now, like in college, that's what every recruiter is looking for. They want dudes who can score the ball. Obviously, everyone wants offensive linemen. You got to win in the trenches and all. But wide receiver, I think in football, and you're seeing it being reflected in the salaries, right? The way in which they have just skyrocketed. That position, and I know people don't want to put Terry McLaurin.
That's why Terry McLaurin is looking at it like the market dictates
right.
that I should be paid a certain amount. And the production, I am Jayden Daniels' go-to guy. I am his weapon.
That's right.
But they got Deebo Samuel this offseason.
But he's not, but I mean,
I'm not saying they're the same. I'm
right.
just saying from an organizational standpoint, it's like we are trying to build. The longer you want to stay out there and not be a part of this, that hurts the progress of this team. That hurts Jayden Daniels.
So
And how many
second
great?
most important position, receiver?
Oh, you said the second most.
I said the second most.
Yes, that's what he was
Like
told.
there are some people who believe that has taken over.
They must
like
not watch. They must not watch the Chiefs.
Like I'm saying, yeah, that's because they have. Well, of course.
Well, of course, but that's what it's
but
about.
But quarterback, pass rusher, wide receiver, like quarterback, pass rusher, wide receiver, corner, tackle. After quarterback, you'll find if you ask 5 different people, Molly, they may give you those other 4.
Yeah.
In a totally different order.
Yeah, it's the first time I heard wide receiver second, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is. But the money talks. Follow the money in the NFL. That's where it's going.
When did McLaurin sign this 3-year extension? 2023. 2023. So now 2 years later, we're going to go give it him again. I mean, let's be also fair. He's a good owner. This Josh Harris is a good owner. They're trying to get this stadium scenario organized. He got a lot on his plate. At the end of the day, again,
a lot on his plate, Doggy.
He does.
Look, all I'm saying is this.
He'll take care of him.
I'm not saying he needs to get paid what Justin's getting paid or get paid what CD's getting paid. That's not what I'm saying. But just make it so his value to their football team, both in the past and in the future, +2, +3 years down the road, is reflective in the money that you're paying him because he deserves it and he's important to Jayden. He's important to him.
He's key.
Because I tell you what,
Yeah, Doug, it's normal to open up a deal when you're still in it in your last year. You know
guys
that.
are hot stuff.
You know
what?
the market resets.
You probably open up your own deal.
I never opened up a deal.
channel.
No, I never have. Every time I sign a contract,
your own
it's been
channel.
You go all the way to the end, huh?
I swear to God, I never. That's since
He's gonna leave this show
1983.
Who's your
and try to
agent, Doggy?
renegotiate.
Montag, he's pretty damn good.
Okay, well, there you go.
You know who he is.
Yeah, I do. He doesn't represent me, but I know who he is.
You may
Pretty
continue.
I got a little tweet for you because something.
Tweet. Who's about it?
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn gấp một cái hình trái tim màu hồng như thế này nhá. Bây giờ các bạn vào làm cùng mình luôn nhé. Rồi, ok. Để bắt đầu vào làm thì các bạn sẽ chuẩn bị cho mình những dụng cụ như sau. Ở đây mình có chuẩn bị 2 tờ giấy có 2 màu khác nhau, đó là màu đen và màu hồng này. Tiếp theo các bạn sẽ chuẩn bị cho mình một cái bút chì, một cái thước, một cây kéo, cuối cùng là một cây súng bắn keo như thế này nhé. Rồi bây giờ mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn vào làm luôn nhé. Đầu tiên thì các bạn sẽ lấy cho mình cái bút chì và thước kẻ. Các bạn sẽ đo cho mình như sau. Đó, các bạn sẽ đo cho mình kích thước của cái tờ giấy này. Nó sẽ là 15 cm cả chiều dài và chiều rộng nhé. Rồi, như